What's going on, everybody? Welcome into Jack Ramsays, Danny Marang, Brandon Sprague. It is NBA Draft Lottery Day. Mr. Sprague, how you doing?
I'm doing great, man. Happy Mother's Day to all the great moms out there. Thank you to
Indeed.
the moms in our lives. Your perfect weather. It's a big day for Blazer fans, so I'm doing great.
So everybody come inside and watch the NBA Draft Lottery.
Well, it's the good thing about the draft lottery. I know they're trying to stretch this stuff out. The
This is
draft
dumb.
lottery's
This is,
quick.
this is dumb. Still.
It's dumb. Yeah. I
Putting
agree.
it on Mother's Day was the dumbest thing they could have done.
I don't disagree with you. Yeah.
There's two things that have happened going into this transaction cycle that everyone agrees with. One, Lotto Day on Mother's Day, dumb as hell. But we can put the Knicks there too. Oh, that's how it worked out for them. They didn't plan that. The script didn't say that. But
I was
also,
curious.
no, say
No,
go
go
ahead.
ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say, are we sure they even knew the calendar when they set this? Because I don't know why in their minds they think Mother's Day is the day to do this.
I mean, it shows up on every single calendar.
Okay.
Every single calendar.
I was trying to defend the league a little
It's
bit.
not like
but-
it's one of those is it a national holiday? Is this something somebody celebrates? I don't know. No, this was dumb. This and the 2-day draft are dumb.
I messed my camera up.
Yeah, you
Damn
did.
it.
What'd you do?
Sorry. I don't know. It got a little loose. There we go. No, now it's too low. I don't know what I'm doing.
What'd you do? This is why you work in radio.
This is the NBA's fault.
Yeah, there you go. Also, they also plan this, but the 2-day draft is all very, 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 very dumb. Little bit of news and notes for everybody. Kind of got worked up there for a little bit with some noise coming around out from the not out from the Trailblazers, but out from the Trailblazers vicinity. As Chauncey Billups' name was floated as a potential replacement for Frank Vogel in Phoenix. Was it Thursday morning? Wednesday morning? Thursday morning?
Thursday. It was Thursday.
One of those mornings I got word pretty early in the day, and then I was basically chasing it until Mannix ran it about an hour and a half later, and I went, oh, this is catching fire very quickly. What I know was that the players behind the scenes in Phoenix wanted Chauncey. And if you want to start going full Charlie from It's Always Sunny, Kevin Durant and Chauncey Billups played together on Team USA in 2010. Matt Ishbia is a huge Pistons fan. Isaiah Thomas advises Matt Ishbia.
Pistons legend. Yeah.
This isn't it's not hard to see how this was going. But what's going to be interesting here is we talked about this last week with Rodney Billups not being renewed and Scott Brooks also being let go. The Scott Brooks one was not surprising. We talked about that. Remember last week I said the one that was a little caught me off guard was Rodney. And I was like, that's kind of interesting. And we talked about how, the difference between what happened on exit interview day between Joe and Chauncey. I don't think it's a fracture. I just think it's honest in that it's tough for a coach to go into a next season, into a lame duck season, not knowing what their future is, knowing pretty much their future next year is going to be losing basketball games.
Yeah, I think the brother part for me, as I noodled on that for a couple days, was if I'm to work with my brother, I think anybody out there that has a close relationship with their sibling, in what scenario are you okay with your brother not being brought back with you? I think the only scenario I landed on as a person was great team with expectation that completely fell on its face, organization saying, hey, dude, sorry, and you go, okay, we get it. Other than that, I don't see a scenario where I'd be happy about that. Now, I'm not saying that's the end-all, be-all to all of this stuff. I also just think, whether this is the Blazers who look at the situation and say, we got some pretty young dudes, we're going to have some more young dudes, this is going to be a ways out. Chauncey's record is pretty abysmal.
Mm-hmm.
Chauncey wants to be on a winner. So it's kind of in this weird spot of the Blazers feel like they kind of want to move on, but they won't. And Chauncey doesn't want to lose out because, well, one, what job is he going to get at this point? The Hornets filled up. The Suns went Budenholzer. The Laker job's out there, I guess, but I didn't see his name on that list. So I just think it's kind of an odd situation both these parties have found themselves in. And part of the reason why I said last Sunday, I thought it smelled weird. Their messaging has kind of publicly been different, and I've been taking note of that. And that comes out, Wednesday? And I'm like, kind of tracks with how I felt. So we'll see where it goes from here. But the whole thing just feels a little off and weird to me.
Yeah, I don't know where this goes. Like I don't know.
Well, I'll tell you where it goes right now.
I don't know if it's untenable, but it doesn't look good.
I don't know how untenable it is because I genuinely think they get along with each other, but I also think they have different visions and ideas of where they're at. And so where this goes is either the Blazers or get off the pot on this and say, look, we love you, thank you, but we got to go a new direction. We're going youth. Or Chauncey just says, I'm going to find a job or I'm backing out. My gut kind of leans, and I hope I'm wrong on this, like they'll just lean into the weird and he'll be back at the press conference and we'll hear how excited he is to coach the young guys. And I don't know how that works from a success standpoint, but if he comes back, he's going to have 50 more losses on his resume. I mean, his record's going to be in the 20s. It's going to be awful.
Is it going to be worse than Brett Brown's?
What was Brett Brown's?
I
don't remember. I mean, it got bad there for a while in Philly.
Yeah, it got really. I believe he has a 39% winning percentage.
Chauncey's at what? 33, right? 32 something. I think Chauncey's at 32 or 33.
So his record is 221 and 344. But that's the difference. Is it was years.
Yeah.
Of just getting absolutely railroaded.
But we're getting ready for the draft, right? So whoever they get and whatever pick they get, like this, we know that this team next year's the value really for them. So you develop, you hope some of these guys take a step, but we know next year they're not going to be good. His record, he could slip into the 20 percentile. Like that's a tough spot for somebody like him who clearly he won a lot in his career. He had a lot of success, Hall of Famer. He wants to be Jason Kidd. He wants to be on a team that can win now. And
right now it's 33%.
That's Brett Brown's 33?
No, Chauncey.
Yeah, 33.
Brett's is 39, but the difference here is that Chauncey has 246 games. Brett Brown had 700.
Right. He was at the start of the tank.
Even when he was not, it wasn't good. That's the thing. It's like yeesh. It's a bloodbath. You can't recover from that.
So my 2 cents is, we put it up on our 1080 the fan Instagram account was like, what should the Blazers do? And I just let him leave. And I don't hate Chauncey Billups. I don't know Chauncey Billups. I just think the situation is if you could go find a Daignault, whoever whatever that coach is that maybe we haven't heard about. It doesn't always have to be the biggest name in the world, but somebody that's fully committed and understands what it takes to develop the age range of the guys we largely have and that they're building with. Mm-hmm. I'm all in. I don't think there's a scenario where you lose out on something here if Chauncey wants to leave, but it feels like the team doesn't want to do that. So where do you stand on all this stuff? Because I think they'd be better off just parting ways.
I think they might have reached that point where it's probably better that they do, considering how it went last week. Because that feels weird.
It felt very weird.
It felt very weird, like there was a little bit of a... And this is nothing new around the NBA. We've talked about this last week. Coaches typically don't go into lame duck seasons. You either get fired or you get an extension or you get your option picked up. And so that part of it's a little bit different. That part of it's a little bit weird. And so you add on the addition of his brother being let go. It's a weird spot to be in, and it felt like there's a little bit of a power grab or a leverage play by Chauncey, which is what you try to do when you're in this position. Let me see what I can do to either, one, get out of it, or two, go, hey, look, I've got value. Show me.
Yeah.
And yeah. I think it might have gone a step too far, though. It's not impossible to come back from it. We're not at that point. But I do wonder if it stepped a little too far.
Yeah, the power play is interesting, too, because, again, maybe Chauncey in his career will kind of turn the narrative of him as a coach around for a lot of people. But, man, when your winning percentage is 33, I don't know what power you think you have earned or you should be given, I guess, at that point.
Oh, I think the power comes from the relationships. Look, everybody's. I'm seeing it in the comments now. I saw it on Twitter the other day. I'm telling you right now, you have your head up your ass if you think that Chauncey Billups isn't so well respected around the league that he wouldn't get a job very quickly. I don't care how you feel about Chauncey Billups. Let me repeat that again. I do not care. I am telling you what is actually out there. Players ride for that dude. That's just the nature of the beast. You can shake your fist all you want. Chauncey sucks. Blah, 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 blah. I don't care. He will get a job very quickly. Now, whether or not it's a head coaching job right away, he will get a job wherever he wants it very quickly because of how well respected and how well liked he is. And that's the thing that he does. You're like, well, that doesn't matter. Yes, it does. Matters a lot. Matters a lot. Because if you can't do that, you are a coach that bounces around. You don't last. You don't have staying power. You can be the best X's O's coach in the world. Hey, David Blatt, it does not matter.
Is there a scenario where, let's take the Lakers, they're still looking for a coach. There's been rumors of names. A podcaster is in that. He's never coached at the NBA level. It'd be very Laker for them to go that direction. Is that a scenario where Chauncey looks and says, am I better off to just go back to Los Angeles, coach with the other team, but be the elite assistant there for a year or two, build up a little more, get more other teams saying, yeah. Who cares what your winning percentage is? You've learned, you've been in both ends of this thing. You were with a good Clipper team. You went and tanked for a couple years, a little out of your control. You went and proved it as a lead again on the bench. I just wonder if that's kind of the play for him. Cause I don't know what other job would be available.
The one that keeps popping up is Detroit.
Are they looking for I don't know what their coaching situation is.
With Monty. There's been rumblings that Monty might still be let go, which is super late in the process. But
how much would they have to pay out for Monty Williams?
That's the question is, remember, Monty didn't want to coach, and the only reason he coached is because he got the money.
They gave him an insane amount.
And I don't know how happy he is. So is this a situation where, look, you don't have to buy me out. Let's go.
Dude, there's no way he's going to say, you don't have to buy me out. I'm good. You know how much money that is? It's $18 million a year, right? Is it something like that?
15.
15?
Yeah.
So what was it? A 4 or 5 year deal?
It was a big deal. My point.
You might be looking at $35+ million. No way.
Point.
He just goes like this.
Look, he didn't want to coach in the first place.
I know. I agree with you there.
So I'm just
saying a lot of money to say no thank you.
Again, I'm just saying it's out there. So, and if Detroit came open, you don't think that they would want to call one of their favorite sons home?
It'd be a good way to get people happy in Detroit again about anything basketball related. But I'll tell you right now, they will get absolutely skewered with how they've handled everything the past year and a half plus. I mean, you could go deeper than that. But.
Yeah, I mean longer than that for sure.
Yeah.
All right, let's pivot. That's where we're at with the Chauncey stuff right now. If we make it through the week, then we'll have a better understanding of kind of where we're at. Besides the NBA draft
you
lottery,
think there's a scenario where this week, we're not, sorry to interrupt you, but there's a scenario, are you kind of hinting at maybe something happening this week?
I'm saying if something's going to happen, it's probably going to happen this week.
Okay.
You're not going to get through the combine and not have an answer one way or the other.
Okay.
So, besides the draft lottery, we've got the NBA combine going on. So this is when we will get weights, measurements, intel, interviews, everything else coming out this week. So you'll start to hear about somebody rising up a board and somebody dropping down a board. I'm really interested to see what other measurements come out over the week. There's a couple guys that I think are going to do really well, and I think there's a couple guys going to do really poorly, and it's going to change fundamentally kind of the middle of the draft and how things shape up. I've heard some guys that are listed at 6'5" are going to list more closer to 6'7". I've heard some guys listed at 6'8" are going to test at 6'5". So the magic height games are going to change a lot of things, and then obviously the intel and interviews and how that stuff comes out of this. So we'll have a better understanding, which will feed into all of our draft coverage. So we are now, just a few minutes away here.
I got it up right here.
Yeah, I've got it too going up now from the NBA draft lottery. Remember, the way this is going to go, guys, at 14, we will know right away. If it is the Warriors pick, the Trailblazers own it. If it flips up Warriors, the Trailblazers own it. If not, it is in the top 4, and it will go to 2025, and the Blazers will have the opportunity for the Warriors' 2025 pick, which will be top 1 protected. The Portland Trailblazers have a roughly 50+% chance of landing in the top 4. Their single likely most landing spot is 6th. 6th. That is the single most popular listing spot for their ping pong balls. They cannot fall outside of the top 8. If you are one of those people that wants to optimize the lottery and you want to push to 2025, you want the Warriors pick to go number 4 and you want the Blazers pick to go number 1. That is your absolute best case scenario if you want to push that pick to 2025. So
we also need Steph Curry to ask out so we can increase
Yes.
those 2025 odds up a
Yes.
little bit.
So those are your numbers to know. For those that are unaware, Scoot Henderson is your representative on the dais today. Also, the lottery has actually already taken place, technically. What is happening right now is they are getting like it's backstage. It's in a secluded room where everyone is locked off. Anyone who's back there right now has to be held back there until the lottery results are announced. So it's kind of a weird thing in process. Who do you, or what do you want to see happen here, Brandon?
I mean, I think you're always rooting for the number 1 pick, right? Like if you're in this situation, you want to have the opportunity to get the player that you most like. I think, let's use last year for example. So last year,
yes,
we're hoping we
let's use the generational play.
No, hold on. I won't just say hold on. Just bear with me here, okay? So last year, obviously, we had Wemby sweepstakes, right? But like also there was the number 2 pick, which almost felt like a number 1 pick because everybody knew Wemby was going 1. So after Wemby, you dictate your own terms. I think what's different about this one that I'm pretty excited about and why I want him to get number 1 for obvious reasons is there's not a clear-cut Wemby. So if you go Klingon, you go Sar, you go Risachet, like it doesn't matter. There's not a clear-cut number 1, Danny, that if you don't like that player as much as 18 other teams in the league, you get eviscerated for it. You get your free pick of the draft, and nobody's gonna go, oh, I don't know about that. It has to be what fits you, what makes sense for your organization. And so, yeah, saying I want them to get number 1 sounds fairly obvious, but in this draft in particular, because there's not a Wemby, there's not a Zion, it feels like it's free reign. And maybe Sar is that pick for them, but I would just love that they wouldn't have to feel any pressure about who they take at 1. They go clear-cut, who we love, what the film says, who they are as a person.
I think that's how this draft's going to go regardless of where they pick. Just kind of have an understanding of their process and kind of how they think and what they've done historically. It's going to be really interesting, though, to see how it shakes out for other teams come draft here in, 5 weeks? June 23rd, I think is what it is?
Yeah, it's around there, yeah.
That's crazy. We're a little over a month away from the draft already.
It's flying by,
Yeah,
dude.
just boop, 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 boop. And then just a few weeks later, I'll be down in Vegas for summer
Then it's
league.
camp after summer league.
Yeah, it's just like, whoa, okay. What I'm wondering, what I don't have a solid grasp on is I still don't think, as of right now, the Blazers will use both their lottery picks. I'd be pretty surprised. Now, trades could change that, for sure. But if they were to use both lottery picks, how would you want them to use that? Not necessarily which players, but like the process behind that.
Yeah, so I think we kind of dabbled in this on our pod. Look, nothing's a given in the draft, right? Like it's largely all relatively a crapshoot. Your first pick, whatever that be, if you have the 2 firsts, you take that swing. You take the swing on the 1 with the most potential to have the biggest impact to help you win the quickest. Because I know we've been joking about this for a couple of years, not built for it. I think there is a runway here where it's like eventually the sucking and sucking and sucking, it will wear thin. So you obviously take a big swing at whatever that first pick is. The second one is one of those, maybe it's somebody, and last week I just threw a name out because he's an experienced, aged, kind of cagey college guy that I like a lot. A Dalton Connect. They just threw that out there, right? I like the idea of getting one that isn't seen as high a prospect ceiling wise, but one that is seen largely as somebody you can probably trust because of the pedigree, because of the experience. If you go 2 swings, okay, but if you strike out twice versus striking out once, but having some kind of really good piece for your team, I think that can be more detrimental in the long term, personally. So I like him to see take that swing, whether that's Sar, Hamilton, I don't know, whoever that is, take a swing, and then second pick, go get somebody that you say, okay, ceiling's not going to be as high as our first pick, but it's something that we've evaluated enough and said, this dude could help Scoot tomorrow. He could get buckets. He could help us out, play a pivotal role for what we are currently building.
I think I want him to take swings with both if they use both.
You want 2 swings?
Yeah, because they still don't have the guy. They don't have the guy. And it doesn't matter if you get a solid role player. Now, the swings don't have to be the same swing. Like, one can be a swing for the fences and one can be a nice little contact swing, you know?
Sure.
But a swing nonetheless. So it's going to be interesting to see number one, how this shakes out. Number two, what the importance of how that kind of shapes everything else. I'm already seeing in the comments and on Twitter, it's like, Blazers are going to get 8-14. I know it. Which I don't think a team has ever fallen all the way back.
That would be pretty bad.
First in history would be a fun one. But what's interesting now is you take a look at the ESPN draft boards. Given he's got Reza Shea back at 1.
I saw that.
Sar 2.
Yeah.
Klingon, Castle, or Topic and Shepard, which I'm sorry, not Shepard, Dillingham, which...
Dillingham, I just saw a clip, Danny, and I forget who it is, so forgive me for this, but I just saw a clip, and it was somebody calling Dillingham maybe this draft or the new age Iverson, and I'm like,
that's a spicy meatball.
That was a spicy meatball.
Yeah, I call him new age Malik Monk with less athleticism. So
Wu has us taking Shepard.
I would be very shocked by that.
Basically says, you don't know who your guards are. Your depth isn't established. You're not a very good team. Take the high-end guy. That's like an elite shooter is basically his reasoning for it. I don't know how that would land in Portland because, the guard thing. But...
Oh, no way. A 6'1" guard?
6 foot. Yeah, well, yeah. I know how it would land, but.
I'm telling you how that would land. It would be an absolute murder. Just, my God. I don't know how you get that. Also, have they had players at the lottery in the past?
I've never seen it like this. This seems like it's but this is kind of the new age thing of what they want to do, right? So it's like a pre-draft draft kind of an event.
Okay.
Where you're interviewing the Reed Shepards.
There's Reed Shepard, okay?
Yeah, there he is right there.
She ain't 6'5".
He's as tall as, who is that? Is that Presley?
I can never remember her name. But, yeah. You're not looking at a whole lot of height there, folks.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God. I'm just, like, looking at it right now. I'm like, oh, Lord.
Yeah, you want to see him next to Klingon? And
he
Steph
might
Castle?
be smaller than me.
He's smaller. That's Dillingham next to him, right? Yeah, he's smaller than Dillingham.
Yeah, that's Dillingham, and then I think Castle's next to Klingon.
Yeah. So.
But if he shoots 42% from 3, Danny,
I don't care.
Yeah, no, I don't think anybody will. Jeremy's really good. I didn't really, maybe he's just kind of going down based on his talent per se, but he did put a top, if they land in the top 4, he went Risa Shea, Sar, Klingon, and then Reed Shepard is 4. So his idea is that these other guys are gone. He's going most talent.
I don't think. I don't
go to the stage. The representatives.
I don't think we're dealing with the Washington Wizards here, where they're so bereft of talent that you just have to take talent. Like, you have to take talent.
Well, who would? Okay, so if Reed Shepherd is in this category to you of surprising, is there another name for you that you'd kind of see and go, huh? Okay, assuming they are in this top 4 territory. I mean, I guess it's a wild card because you don't know who's going to fall to what. But
wait, no, ask that again. I'm sorry.
So outside of the Sar, the Klingon, is there a name that if those guys are gone and Portland's at like 4, Reed Shepherd, you just kind of highlighted it, would shock you, right?
I would go Cody Williams.
Colorado. Oh, you're saying like who you would take?
Yeah.
Oh, I was going to say, is there another name for you that if it's not Reed Shepherd, it's this name, and you go, what? What?
Rob Dillingham.
Rob Dillingham, okay.
Yeah. And the other guy that was up there that was, I don't have to look up at.
Yeah. Yeah. You're just about eye to eye with that guy.
Yeah. So, if I don't have to look up at you, you should not be drafted.
Yeah.
That's kind of where we're at right now with the Blazers.
Just give us some height and length.
So it's very again, Reza Shay's gonna measure probably 6'9" plus, Sarge 7'1", Klingon 7'2", Cody 6'8",
Yeah.
Saloon, he's listed at 6'8", 210. Everybody I've talked to says he's gonna measure at 6'10" or 6'11" and 235, which is a significant difference. Like
Toppage is another name I keep wondering about. I'm just, hey, dude, don't kill the messenger.
No. That's the one I hem and haw over. Because he does have size and he does have rim pressure. And it was like, well, he can't shoot. And I'm like, look, man, I can run you down a list of 40 players coming into college or coming into the NBA that couldn't shoot, that their jumper looked fine. And Toppage's jumper looks fine.
Mm. Yeah, I mean, the process doesn't matter to me if it goes in. I'm not going to be Doug Gottlieb with Caitlin Clark. Like, how would we fix this? Like, we don't need to. She can get a bucket.
Yeah, that was super fun.
Falling at 3 or 4 to me would kind of be not awful too, because I don't think Williams is going to go 1. And
no. Cody's not. Cody's mocked, I think, somewhere between 7 through 9.
Yeah, he's kind of at the back end of the top 10.
Which is interesting because if you watched him in college, the reason he fell towards the end, and everybody's like, I don't know, and you watch the Pac-12 tournament and then the NCAA tournament, he was playing with a bad ankle. Go back and watch the first 28 games.
Yeah. Yeah, how many games did he miss? He was out for a good stretch there.
He's out for a bit, but he was also, when he came back, he was hurt.
Yeah.
I quit teasing the game coming up. Everybody knows this freaking Knicks and Pacers are coming up. Get to the bleeping lottery, for the love of God.
No kidding.
But with
it means
Cody,
they're going to whiz right through it, by the way.
Yeah, exactly. It's exactly what they're going to do. It's all pomp and circumstance. I'm writing my draft preview of Cody right now. So I'm in the midst of all that. And for everybody wondering why, there you go. They're showing the drawing room right now. The phone's going in the Ziploc bags, sealed up.
I'm looking for Hyken.
I don't think he ended up going in the room. He might have.
Oh.
He said he might. He wasn't. Last time
There's
I
Zach Lowe.
He said he wasn't sure if he was going in yet. So he did last year. But as it pertains to Cody, the reason I love Cody beyond anything else is he's 6'8", athletic as hell, smart, and he finished over 70% of his shots at the rim. Finished at almost 74%. That's elite.
Yeah.
And he flashed, although on low volume, is the ability to shoot the 3-ball. And yes, having his brother be Jalen Williams is helpful in the draft process. That has done work for him. But I don't think that's the only thing that's going to keep him back.
I think the other part too, because now they're showing the people that represent the teams. The other part too on Cody, I really like him. If they took him with their first pick, I don't.
Oh, hey, there's Chris. Keegan.
Well, they never flip. Remember, they never trick anybody.
They've never done it. I asked him about that, and I was like, "Come on, man."
I was pretty disappointed when we interviewed him. He said that, but on Cody, we can say whatever we say now, like, oh, he's at the back end of the top 10. Yeah, let him work out. Let him meet with teams. Let let's get the measurables and then see where these mocks start breaking out in the next couple weeks. Because that's the other thing is some of these things change drastically with the information these guys are given.
Don't be surprised if you see Steph Castle being mocked 1 immediately. That's already happening behind the scenes.
Okay.
He's rising behind the scenes.
Any reason in particular? Just
measurables, interviews, character,
yeah,
DNA,
program.
IQ.
Yeah.
All of that stuff is pushing up for him a ton. So
I'll be curious to see how the UConn guys go in this draft, the top 2, because man, you got basically a mini NBA team in college basketball right now.
Probably going to both go top 5.
Yeah.
Which that's pretty good when you think about it.
Yeah.
Caravan, I've heard also is a guy that could definitely sneak into the first round. So
you know what? Can I just say I hate how they set this up? Hey, there's Scoot rocking a jean jacket. How Portland to him.
Mm-hmm.
That's an interesting look, though. A tie with a jean jacket.
It's not the worst thing he's ever worn.
I don't know fashion. I'm wearing a black T-shirt. The hell do I know?
Look, I'm wearing a hoodie and a hat. I'm not gonna bust his ass.
How are you wearing a hoodie? It's like 80 degrees outside.
Because my house is 65. Just like I like it.
Must be nice.
Yeah, it's that sweet HVAC. As we're waiting for the pomp and circumstance to continue pushing through. Scoot kept us waiting late one night. He usually doesn't. He's usually very quick about it post game.
To get his clothes on?
To get his clothes on. And watching him try to put on like these like rubber/leather stretchy boots that went up to his knee. And I was sitting there thinking, I'm so old and so broken. There is no way I could put these on without tearing something. Like, here's this like 19, 20-year-old explosive athlete with all the flexibility in the world struggling to put these things on. And I'm like, it's not worth it, man. It's not worth it.
Well, I also would ask, I know these guys don't go to bed right after the game. They're up for a few hours. Some of them will find, some spots to go to, whatever. But, like, how much longer are you going to wear those boots? Do you need to wear those boots? Why not just get into some slippers and go home?
Look, man, this is why I love Tumani. Tumani and WAP. Both those guys are, let's go ahead and throw on some sweats.
White T-shirt sweats guys?
Yeah, they are. Team issue sweats out the door. I'm like,
that would be
there
me.
We go.
There we go.
There we go. The officials from the ratification group have dropped off the books, and we are underway.
All right, we're going to find out things really quick. Here it is. Yep.
There you go.
Oh, hello, Chauncey.
Right out of the gate, you know what you got.
Yeah.
So your Portland Trailblazers will be picking 14th for the Golden State Warriors, which means we are chalk so far.
Yep.
We are chalk so far. Nobody has moved up. Nobody's moved up yet. All right.
All right. 10th. I'm waiting for the thing. I'm just waiting for it.
Mm-hmm.
Grizzlies 7.
Hyken was in the room.
Or 9, sorry.
Yeah, we're chalk. We are chalk all the way through so far.
Here we go. It's not shaking up.
Unbelievable.
I know.
Not one has jumped up yet.
Oh, my God.
Everybody else jumped up. 3 teams jumped up. It was chalk until then, and 3 teams jumped up.
You know why? Because we don't get nice things. Oh, my Lord. 7?
Oh, my God. Oh, the poor Pistons.
Yikes. The Pistons
So
fell
the
out,
Wizards,
man.
the Wizards stayed.
That's hilarious. 7?
Wow.
What's Joe thinking right now?
Oof. My goodness. You know,
7?
I was talking to somebody before the draft, and they said
They almost maxed out on how far back they could go.
and they said, just fall back here and save all the good juju for next year. Well, my dream might have just come true because they might take Cody Williams now.
Yeah, I told you I wouldn't be mad about it. Whether it was 1 or 7, you're not going to make me mad about it.
Pistons fell back 4 spots.
The Pistons are funny. What I'm worried about is what we just talked about prior to the start of this thing. I'm worried, though, that his workouts, the brother, the program, and the size and the age, I don't know if he's going to be available at 7.
It's all depends on how things shake out.
It all depends.
So your top 4 right now in no order are going to be Hawks, Spurs, Rockets, and Wizards. If the Spurs won this freaking lottery, so help me God.
I will be so irate. You know they're going to take Topic, and you know he's going to become like a multi-year all-star. You can have a 6'6" point guard with your 7'4" center forward guard. Unbelievable.
Oh, my God. So,
Topic is the most Spurs pick ever.
Oh, yeah. What's really interesting here is how this can now shake up for those teams. The Hawks jumping here is wild.
Yeah.
Wild. That's like the one thing that nobody anticipated was that. What were their
And they were
odds?
10th? They were slated to be 10th, right?
Let me take a look. I've got it right here.
Yeah, it was 10th. The odds to get the number 1 pick are 3% for them. Top 3 was 9.9%.
So they had a total of 3, 6, 9. Wow.
Unbelievable.
The Blazers had a 16.39% chance of landing 7th. They had an 84% chance to land anywhere but there. Woo, buddy. That's tough. But on the flip side, now you know where to go. Now you know what you're working with. Now we know what the opportunities are.
Yeah.
So you can throw out the likely.
Okay.
The good news. It's a good news, bad news scenario. Bad news.
Go ahead.
There's no Alex Sarr. There's no Zach Rizachet. Good news is the guards are gone. Because Topic is going to go. Dillingham's going to go. Shepard's going to go.
You think Shepard's going to go?
Yeah.
What do you do if Williams, Sarr, Klingon, Rizachet, what happens if those are the names that drop? Where are you looking at 7? Like, in that scenario, too, some of those guards did drop, right? If I'm just throwing out some of the bigs that get picked early, Castle goes, Klingon goes, Sarr goes. You know? I'm interested to see what they would do there.
I don't think that I think you're gonna see the run on guards. I don't think that you're gonna see all the wings gone. I just don't. So you look at the teams that are up there; they're all teams that need guard help. That's the way I look at it. So, everybody freaking out in the chat right now, and
that was about as bad as you could possibly get.
Yeah, it's also not the worst thing on the face of the planet. It's like, remember 5 minutes ago, everybody in the draft was talking about it's the worst, or in the chat was talking about it's the worst draft ever. Now it's the end of the world. It's like, guys, you can't have it both ways. It's either not a very good draft or
here we go. 4. Oh, thank you. They didn't get lucky back-to-back years.
Well, I mean, they did.
Yeah, you know what I mean, though.
They have 4 and 8.
Oh my God. This is gonna be hilarious if it's not Washington. The Hawks. Wow. The number one
Unbelievable.
pick in the draft, the Atlanta Hawks, with a 3% chance for that to happen.
Unreal.
Who the hell are they going to go get?
So the Hawks are going to trade Trae Young and have the number one pick to start over with.
They still got some things, too. They're not in the worst position ever.
Unreal.
Wow. Danny, I hear what you're saying, and you could ultimately be right on this. I guess my worry would be is who impresses these teams throughout this process, and that run of guards doesn't quite happen the way we think it does. Because Atlanta's going to go wing forward, right? Because you got DeJounte. You wouldn't go Dillingham or Shepard there?
I think they need shooting more than anything.
Sure.
Um,
But you trade Trae Young, you're in a unique spot where you're kind of like, it's a clear indicator. Hey, this is a little bit of a restart for us, obviously, at number one. Wizards, you have no idea what the hell the Wizards are going to do. I don't think anybody can really claim to know what the Wizards are going to do.
and for everybody freaking out right now, remember Shaedon Sharp was just picked at the spot.
He was. The Rockets do need guard.
Kobe White was picked at this spot. Wendell Carter, Lauri Markkanen, Jamal Murray, Julius Randle, Harrison Barnes, Steph Curry.
The tough thing about all the guys you just named, though, minus Steph, is all of those players kind of had the resurgence of their career on different teams. They largely didn't all thrive immediately with their first team. It was the next stop where they started to kind of they weren't allowed enough time to grow. Obviously,
I think all of those guys were good.
Oh, I think they're good players.
Yeah, but I mean, they were good even from the jump. Kobe just took a little bit longer, but that's the thing. Is like the development arcs all the same. And the funny thing is, they all got good when they got in their mid-20s, which is when all basketball players get good.
But you don't win 21 games to get the 7th pick, right? Like this was kind of the
yes, you do.
nightmare.
Yeah, I'm going to argue with you right now. Yes, you fucking do. You do. You absolutely do, because this is the path that you have to take. You cannot look at the process and then be pissed about the result when the process is the process. This is what happens. Unequivocally, unquestionably. You can be frustrated, you can be mad, you can be irritated, and it sucks. But you don't go, all that tanking for nothing. No, the tanking is still the right path, because going otherwise makes no sense. Absolutely zero sense. It sucks. It sucks ass that you don't get the best possible reward. You don't get the Wemby process.
Mm-hmm.
But like everybody's like, I'm already seeing in the chat, all that tanking for nothing. So it would have been better for them to win 28 wins so you could feel a little bit better about the season, and then have them be at the same exact spot. And it's just like, that's not how that works.
Everybody I think knows what the process is. I think it's more of like the process to give yourself the best shot, and you ended up with 7, and that's not. Obviously, that's out of your control, but like that process did not ultimately reward you, and that's what sucks.
Think about the Pistons. They still haven't moved up.
I know.
Number 5 again.
The Hawks took the number 1 pick. They had 3% chance.
What was it? The Greg Oden draft? Oh God.
Well, that was the Sonics and the Blazers. The back end of that one to get number 1. That was one of the more all-time insane. What the hell happened in the lottery situations, really?
If I remember right, it was one of the lowest numbers ever.
I think when you see, okay, so I think there is a difference here.
Oh, no, 7.5 was that draft.
7.5, yeah.
Which is still, God, that's low.
But I think when people are saying that, I don't think it's about like, hey, we should have tried to win 34 games. I think it's just like saying out loud, this blows. Like when you do these things, everybody's hoping for the same thing. The organization down to the last fan, and it just completely went the other way. Now, the best bet at this hope, if you want to paint any optimism for people out there that are very pessimistic or bummed out, whatever it is is that you just hope that the run on guards, like you mentioned, happens, and a lot of these bigs and forwards fall to you, and you say, hey, we didn't get 1, we didn't get 2 or 3, but we stuck at 7, and these other teams needed guard play. They took guards, and we ended up with fill in the blank forward or big man, or whatever ends up falling to you. That's the best bet scenario. But I don't think when you see that, I don't think it's people saying you should have won 36 games. I think it's just like, dude, everybody's bummed about this. This is Joe Cronin to us. Everybody's got to be bummed by that.
Yeah, I mean, it's not great, but I've always, and I will maintain this, that it is not about the results, it is about the process. And if you're not going about the process, good God, I can't get Tankathon to load because it's getting slammed overall right now.
Oh, yeah. Everybody that cares about the draft is on Tankathon right now. Do you still think they trade both, or 7 and 14, something? Now that you've fallen to 7.
This is maybe the position where they package one to trade up, or they use both. I think this is the scenario. Either they package them together to move up to a guy that they want, or they use both. I think those are on the table right now, as well as trading them.
Well, how high do you think you could trade up with the teams in front of you? Because I'm wondering, like, you have to really like a player that you think is available if you're going to trade both those to move up, right?
Sure. Or you don't think they're as valuable.
Because if the run on guard play happens, you might actually be in a spot. I just kind of think naturally the way they're developing this, 2 picks make sense for them. But if it falls the way you hope it falls for you with the guards, I'm just kind of wondering, do you sit there and say, well, we got this guy, he fell to us at 7, and we liked him a lot. And looking at what's going behind us, 14 actually might be a good spot for a fill-in-the-blank guy.
I am pulling up a couple mock drafts right now.
Yeah.
Sorry. All right. So, ESPN's mock. Riza-Shea, Sarr, Klingon, Dillingham, Topic, Buzelis. Reed Shepard is on the board. Connect is on the board. Castle's on the board. Williams is on the board. Collier's on the board. Walter, Holland, Saloon, Edie, Filipowski. I think that's probably... I've heard Jared McCain's name be up there as well.
Ron Holland, you are a Portland Trailblazer.
I would be shocked if they went down that road.
I don't know if I'd be able to do a show with you. I think you'd be too out. I think you'd be too upset to do a podcast.
Look, I have nothing against the kid. I just don't think you.
He doesn't fit your prototype. I get it.
No, it's just very much not my. Like, if I could take his mentality and I could take his work ethic and I could take how much he gives a damn about stuff and put it in like anybody else in this draft, would love it.
Well, but okay, can I play devil's advocate on that? Because I saw him at the LSI. Obviously, you saw him in the G League with the Unite.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we kind of have the same takeaway. I saw him and thought, a little undersized, a little skinnier than I thought he would be. He was an amazing player, though. And I think the part of the draft, especially this one, being such a wild card, if you're telling me he has the work ethic, he has the drive, he has the mentality, I get the physical limitability. What am I trying to say? Whatever his limits are physically, I get that, but like some of that stuff is not something that you develop. It's something that you kind of just have, right? So, there's an aspect of if that stuff flies off the radar for him, maybe they're willing to overlook some of that.
I don't think you can.
Limitations, as I just come under the word.
Yeah, I don't think you can. I don't think they're in a position to overlook that stuff. They need, Ron Holland, for him to be successful, needs to go to a team that allows for his shortcomings to be minimized, not built around. You know what I mean?
Sure.
I don't think he can go to a team top 5 and have the top 5 pick pressure or top 7 and be like, yeah, no, he's going to be a guy we feature. And then you go, well, how do we feature him? If he goes to Portland, what does Portland need? Shooting. What does Portland not have? Shooting. Mm-hmm. What does Ron Holland need to be successful on the floor to have others around him? Shooting. What does Scoot Henderson need to have around him? You're going to play Scoot and Ron Holland together? Stuff me in a cannon and shoot me into the sun.
Okay.
There's just no. And the thing is with Ron, if he does figure it out, I think he's a very high-end role player. I think he's pocket-sized Andre Iguodala.
I mean, aren't the reality of this draft though, Danny, is that like most of these guys are that, right? High-end role guys.
I think you're going to find a star or two. There always is.
Okay.
But like the reason I like Cody is because he does have the ability to be like for me kind of a Chris Middleton.
Sure.
Where his peak is probably as a number 2.
Okay.
But it's a really good number 2 with rim pressure and size. And that's the thing is like, what's the worst outcome for Cody Williams? He's a guy that bigger Alec Burks.
A rotational guy that lands from like 8 different teams, but has a lengthy career.
And that's the thing is like, I look at him and I go, and here's the thing. Whoever takes Cody, he's not going to be good his rookie year. I'm going to just go ahead and get out in front of that right away. As much as I like Cody, he is a project. Hard pass as far as like the whole like.
Well, is an Alex Sarr a project?
Yes and no.
Not in the same maybe level as Cody, but playing in Perth is not remotely close to playing in the NBA.
No, but as it pertains, like I'm not saying hard pass on Cody as a project. I'm saying hard pass on like the whole like rookie year expectation stuff.
Oh, gotcha.
Because I think he needs to go to a spot that's just going to allow him to develop.
Yeah. Well, how many players in this draft don't have that though? How many players in the draft would you say of the top? Let's keep it in the top 7.
Sarr's going to play right away and have an impact. Reza Shea is going to play right away and have an impact. Like,
but they're also going to have their struggles, right?
Sure. Sarr gets on the floor because his defensive tools are world class. There's not a question about that. Reza Shea gets on the floor because he's a 6'10" shooter.
Yeah.
And who plays defense. Shepherd gets on the floor because he can shoot. Dillingham gets on the floor because he can shoot, and he'll have the ball in his hands. Like,
yeah,
it's harder for those guys that need to do the other stuff, as we see with Shaden, because they need the ball a little bit too. They need to figure some stuff out. And the other guy in here, as much as I've ring on Cody, Castle's a guy that I could also see if for whatever reason does fall. And it was like, oh, he's a guard. I'm like, sure.
Is he a Josh Hart guard? He's a kind of tweener?
Yeah. That's
because he reminded me of Josh Hart in their run.
Yeah, he just does stuff. He just does stuff. And heaven forbid if the shooting comes around, then you've got something you're working with. So everybody putting in Dalton Connect and Furphy. Number 1, Furphy's probably going back to school. Number 2, look, Dalton Connect's entirely fine, but you like him because he can shoot and he's white. Just be honest about it.
Hey, I just like him because he's shoot. I don't care if he's white.
I'm just talking about people in the comments. It's like, that's weird.
Hey, if Scoot has somebody to kick out to after he drives for a 3 and that guy's going to shoot 38 to 41%, I'm all in. Give me that guy.
Look, you can find a lot of those guys in free agency.
But I don't mind a guy
saying.
growing with him either. He's
saying.
22. Scoot develops by 2021.
Just saying.
I'm not mad at. We disagree on the Dalton Connect thing. Okay, that's clear.
Here's the thing. I think he's I like Connect. I like Dalton, but I just don't see the idea. Like, if you're this team, I just don't understand it.
I'll be fascinated to track the mocks, the way people are talking about some of these prospects, and look, I do think that you got to give most fans the benefit today. Okay. I get the anger. I get the frustration. We all know what this objective is. It is to capture the flag, right?
Yes.
Okay. So when people say, what a waste of a take, it is not something that should upset you. You should just go, today, of all the days, I will allow it because everybody is mad. Nobody wanted 7. No. You wanted to be top 4, and it just didn't happen for you. But I think most people get what's going on at this point.
Hopefully. If not, we'll dive into some more because I don't want to take up any more of everyone's Mother's Day. Thank you.
We love you, moms.
We appreciate you. Sorry it didn't go well.
Not everybody's control.
Literally the second worst possible outcome. If you're the Pistons, though, you fell back 4 spots. So
we do not get nice things. Hopefully, we will next year, though.
Yeah, that's the one that matters. And remember, that's what everybody freaks out. Also, the whole idea of everybody having this figured out. A lot of good players have been picked 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So Got to see how it goes.
If the run on guards happens, Danny, I think that's the best possible thing it can.
I have reeling suspicion is how this is going to go. Thank you all for being here. We appreciate you. We love you. Like, rate, review, subscribe. Help us grow the show. Share us with your friends. Share us with your family. You're having Mother's Day. Talk about us at dinner. Go over well. You can find us on social media at Danny Marang, at Brandon Sprague, at Jack Ramsays. Email the show, jackramsays@gmail.com. If you want to listen tomorrow morning, Dirt and Sprague, 1080 The Fan, they will be talking about this. I'm sure Dirt will be entirely reasonable and not blame this somehow, some way on Jody Allen and all of his golf gear.
He's already texted me how he's mapping out to connect it to Jody.
I like leaning into the bit.
That's great.
Dusty and I will definitely talk about this tomorrow afternoon as well. Noon to 3
Don't
also
scream at
on
people.
1080
Hey,
The Fan.
don't scream at people, okay?
Oh, I
Or
will.
else it's gonna be
I
emotional.
will. We'll open up the text line and let everybody vent, and everybody will say the same three things. The Blazers are going to take all guards. The Blazers can't have nice things. This is the Blazers, Jody Allen. And I'll see the same three versions of that joke through the text line for 3 hours. So thank you for that. I appreciate it. I'm mostly messing with you, but also please don't. It just gets so tiresome. Everyone enjoy your Mother's Day. Thank you all so very much. And we'll dive into draft coverage now that we know where things stand as the combine gets underway. You got anything else, bud?
No, that's it, man. Tune into the shows. We'll check back in with you guys and follow up. And we got draft coverage coming. And, not our day, not our luck, but it doesn't have to be the end-all, be-all. Maybe they'll get lucky with who falls to them.
All right. For Brandon, Danny, everybody, enjoy your Mother's Day. Take care. Talk soon.